hear the wind blowing, leaves brushing against the metal roof of this place. I hear the doors and windows rattling, and I hope you'll be okay with that, because in a way I think it's kind of fitting given the stormy times that we're in. I'm here to tell you about Kcymaerxthaere, tell you stories of Kcymaerxthaere. Kcymaerxthaere is a parallel universe that has some points in contact with our world, but it has different laws of physics. It has different dimensions. It has different gemvelak, and gemvelak they're like qualities of existence. They're like time or space or Fahrenheit or any of those kinds of things. And there are quite a few gemvelak beyond that. And what we do is install in our linear world markers and historic sites that honor events from the parallel world in our world. And this is not a good time in our linear world to be going out and to be visiting even the ones that might be in your neighborhood or nearby, let alone travel further. So we're bringing the stories of Kcymaerxthaere to you. And one way to get a handle on a new place is to think a little bit or learn a little bit about the flora and fauna. And there's so many creatures that are fantastic and unusual and compelling. So I'll just tell you about a few of them, and you'll meet more of them as the stories continue. But just to give some examples, there's a creature called the Rowbangs, and the Rowbangs are they're a bit like dolphins. They're lazier and they're a little more pretentious, actually. But they are beloved in a certain way because they really got tired of swimming around the continents. They invented these things that were basically not really vehicles, I guess, but it was kind of like a dirigible, except for it's filled with water, and it comes out of the ocean with the Rowbangs in it. They're swimming around, but they don't have to swim all the time because they can chill, kick back, or whatever. But when they come out of the ocean, it's really spectacular. And they come out over a beach, and they're dripping the water from the ocean, and all the conversational creatures, humans, tlapak, Brezlov, all those organisms love to be there because it's so cool to have the water drip down on them as it goes overhead. And so we've installed, for example, a marker that talks about a place where that happened in Kcymaerxthaere. They're agagatlavs, and those are creatures of density, so they don't have a metabolism or even any body or anything, but they exist in below the surface of the earth in places like what we call the Nullarbor in southern Australia, and they were actually harnessed by the Tehachapi, the great road building culture of Kcymaerxthaere, which you'll hear more about. Harnessed them to they were so dense they were actually centers of gravity, and they could therefore pull the musical instruments of the Tehachapi along the playing field, you might say. But I wanted to share one other creature, which is the Nosien. The Nosien is one that kids love to draw. I think everybody loves to draw them. They're seven-legged. They're deer-like creatures, and they were important for many cultures in Kcymaerxthaere because their prime-numbered legs were extremely nutritious, but their non-prime-numbered legs were poisonous unto death. And in fact, a famous mathematician, the Lector of Pedraza, believed, crazily enough, that 1 was a prime number. And if you've taken, you probably remember from math class that that's not true. And so he was so convinced he ate the number 1 leg of the Nosien, and of course he died. So math can be very, very serious. So, but one of the things you see here is a carving of a Nosien by a carver in Linear Armenia. And you can see the distinctive 7 legs. You can see let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's something we do in Kcymaerxthaere a lot. We even are planning some online versions of this activity, which are to create disputed likenesses. So put him back in his home. So this is the first installment of the stories of Kcymaerxthaere, and we hope you'll join us. And I'll sign off by saying Shof Keppel Poets, and that's a toast, a Kcymaerxthaereal toast, and I'll tell you all about it next time. Thanks for joining us.